Steve's talking with Sandra Smith. Sandra is president of Insight Talent Solutions, and they're talking about how she's applied value storytelling and why it's so important to her business. Listen in.
So what we did was we created our own secret sauce based upon stories that clients told us. When they did business with us, why did they do business with us? We took the time to actually interview candidates and clients client companies that hired us to find them people and the people that we found for those companies. And they were gracious enough to tell us the reason why they did business with us. And they shared their story in video. And that was a really, I thought, very humbling and it was very, very rewarding to know why businesses worked with us. Things like we think outside the box, we go the extra mile, honesty, making them feel important. The process of changing a job is extremely important for people. It's difficult, it's emotional, and realizing that as an organization, we had made candidates feel that this was very important to them, and because it was important to us, it was important to them. The same held true with the client side. The clients felt that we were very sincere about our efforts to find them a good fit. And when you're dealing with somebody's career, it's a very personal experience. It's a high touch, and if you don't realize that when you do this kind of work, it can be very daunting and it can be intimidating to the people that you work with. So having said that, those are just some of the nuggets that candidates and clients told us. That was our secret sauce. We had our clients tell us what the secret sauce was, why they did business with us, and try to replicate that when we go forward. So it's just that kind of a relationship. I hope that answers your question.
That's awesome. And just out of curiosity, when you asked them the questions, did anything they say surprise you in a positive sense?
Surprise, that's a good question. I was just really surprised. The words, there's a lot of people that think that recruiting firms are ruthless, cutthroat, insensitive, impersonal, and I found just quite the opposite was trustworthy, caring, fun. Fun was one I thought that was kind of surprising. That one candidate said I was fun to work with, and those are very nice things to hear. One candidate that I spoke with said that I made her feel really special because other people that she worked with just made her feel like a resume and not a human being. So I guess that was surprising and very nice to hear.
That is very different than what one would expect normally from a recruiting situation, right? Well, they helped me find a job, or they placed me, or they set up good interviews. That's the standard answer one would expect to hear, isn't it?
Well, keeping in mind, and this is something that's sometimes confusing, we actually are hired by the employer. So we have to find the candidate for the job, not the job for the candidate. And so we have to make sure that we don't alienate a person if they don't fit. So we have to be sensitive to the fact that we've contacted these people out of the blue. We've approached them about a job, got them all excited about it, and sometimes we have to let them down, and they aren't a fit, or they are not going to take it. Or in some cases, we have a client that got excited about a candidate, and the candidate turned them down. So you have to deal with those roller coaster emotions, and it can be hard if you aren't sensitive to that. And I don't want to say it's a differentiator, but it's realizing that it's an important part of the process, and knowing that you're dealing with human beings and their lives. So those are important responsibilities, and you have to take it seriously and be sincere.
So it sounds like even some of the work we did, getting you up to speed on the secret sauce and looking at this, it's almost like you guys internalized it. This is like part of who you are and your DNA and the way you've actually started marketing and selling and talking. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did literally use every bit of content on our website. It was from the you perspective, not us. We really look at that as part of our branding and how we communicate our messaging. We tried our best to replace the word we with you, the customer, and not us or we, the company, the provider. So I think we've tried to really take that in, and we've been successful, becoming more and more challenging, differentiating yourself in this economy, because there's just a lot of people out there, and it's a low barrier to entry industry, and anyone can jump in at any time and get into this business, but it's very challenging to stay in the business because competition is very fierce, and you've got to make sure you continue to do your best work all the time.
Let me ask you a question. You're a business owner. This is 5-6 years since you've made this transformation. What advice would you give another business owner who was considering looking at making this change or working on their own value proposition or figuring out how to tell their value story? What would you tell them as they walked into this?
Number one, ask your customers why they do business with you. That's probably first and foremost. And then secondly, and that's probably, if you can't remember number one, go back to number one for number two. I guess it's really ask your customers why they did business with you in the first place. What is it about your proposition that they bought into? They're your best resource for understanding what it is. A lot of times they said, well, we liked you because you're creative, or we liked you because you went above and beyond the call of duty, or you always came up with good ideas for us to improve the way we hired somebody, or you went the extra mile. And I've had many candidates tell me this. I just had lunch with a candidate last week, and I asked him, I said, so why did you decide to finally talk to me? He goes, well, he says, don't laugh. He said, but you didn't give up. You continue to reach out to me multiple times. And he goes, and I get calls from recruiters all the time. So I finally decided to listen to you. And he goes, I'm glad I did. He got a huge salary increase. He likes his new job. He likes the atmosphere and the culture, and he's very happy he took the risk. And when you're dealing with candidates, they are taking a risk when they're employed. So you have to be persistent, listen to your customers, and rinse and repeat, repeat that number one and number two.